Good day, everyone. Reverend Ken Houston here from St. Peter's Church on the Antrim Road in Belfast. I am recording this on the 18th day of our exile. My wife and I went into self-isolation over 2 weeks ago. In the year 597 BC, the Jews suffered their greatest calamity ever. They were conquered by the Babylonian army. The land was laid waste, Jerusalem was invaded, the temple was looted, and it was knocked down. The king, his officials, and many of the peoples were carried off to Babylon, where they would remain in exile for 70 years. The prophets had prophesied that this would happen. Psalm 137 verses 1 to 6 reflects very well how they felt. By the waters of Babylon we sat and wept when we remembered Zion. How shall we sing the Lord's song in a strange land? In the 1980s, the singing group Boney M recorded a hit song, By the Rivers of Babylon. You can find it on YouTube, worth listening to. Jeremiah effectively told the exiles that they were in it for the long haul. They were to make themselves at home for a long, long time. But Jeremiah and Ezekiel also prophesied that after that time they would return to Jerusalem and rebuild the city and the temple. Some were disappointed by the lack of splendour of this second temple compared to the splendour of Solomon's temple, which had been destroyed. This work would not finally be completed until the time of Jesus, when Herod's temple was finished. An immediate effect of the exile was that they could no longer worship in the temple and keep the great festivals as they had in the past. There was danger to themselves and their religion. Yet, under the leadership of Daniel and with the example of Shadrach, Meshach and Abednego to inspire them, they continued to worship God in their homes. The people managed to develop new ways of worshipping God. Is it proper for me, do you think, to describe our period of self-isolation as exile? There are similarities. We can no longer worship God in our churches as usual. We can only listen on the radio or watch on TV or join in live streaming on Facebook or YouTube. We can no longer shake the hands of our fellow worshippers nor receive communion. We cannot hold a funeral service in the church nor attend a cremation. And some people are going stir crazy because they can't get out of the house after only 2 weeks. Do you think could we endure even 70 days, let alone 70 years? But throughout their exile, God was with the Jews, encouraging them with the promise of restoration. Similarly, if we keep faith with God, we have his promise of a return from exile, a return to normal life. But we must be prepared for a different sort of normal. Today is the Tuesday in Holy Week, and we're currently working our way through, perhaps more slowly than usual. Reverend Brian and David will be streaming live worship daily through the week until Good Friday, recounting the events of Jesus' last days on earth. We're working towards Sunday, Resurrection Day, when the greatest release from exile from God is remembered and celebrated. Look forward to this. Keep well and stay safe.